And we welcome you to another edition of This Is Wrestling. It is Lee Versage, alongside the one and only Zach McGibbon. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, Zach. How were your holidays?
Holidays were good.
I don't care how your holidays were, Zach. Worlds ended last night. No, I do care about your holidays. How were your holidays, Zach?
It was good. It was good. I was actually expecting a double fake out there where I was just going to get it's like a double Dwayne Johnson over there. But no, it was good. Holidays were good. It was good to see family, and was down in Ottawa for a few days. Obviously got to see you. We recorded some audio while I was down there as well. And but I initially was going to head back down over to Perth and see continue the family festivities. But this ice storm that's about to make its way through the region put a halt to plans on that.
Well, lucky for the listener, right?
Right.
Another edition of This Is Wrestling after, like I said, Worlds ended last night. Yeah, I mean, this is fun, isn't it? But I think I've shoveled 4,200 times so far.
Oh,
wow.
We're
not even in January yet.
Yeah. Do you have one of those clickers that kind of keep track of how many times, like how umpires like keep track of balls and strikes? Is that how you do it for shoveling?
Well, it's how, Zach, I have to have one because to record the number of times you try to get your bits in, I have also that clicker.
Yeah. We need the sound effect of a bell ding whenever there's a bit that I'm able to sneak in. So
like there's nothing like in holidays where you're sitting here and you're like, what am I going to do today? I know, I'll get the generator ready just in case this ice storm is as bad as they're saying it is and we lose power. And I am fortunate I have a wood stove, but after that, Zach, it's few and far between. And I live in a place that you've been, and it's when the power goes out, not a lot happening when you live on well, and so it's not the greatest. Not the greatest. You have some water, but you want to make sure that you use it properly because you don't have a ton of water. And one time out for 6 days a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Now that was in May.
Yeah.
So at least it weren't freezing, but yeah, it was 5 days longer than they said it was going to be. And it was, it was quite fun.
You got a blast.
But you're not in Perth. I'm getting generators ready. And we have a pay-per-view to talk about. We have a lot to talk about since you have last been here. What was the best gift that you gave somebody? So, Zach, Christmas sometimes is about giving as well. You don't just take and receive, and younger folk like you like to get a lot of gifts.
Wow, just lump me right in there. Might as well just say Gen Zers and their ability to take everything in, right?
You know what? I say that, and everyone listening knows. Yeah, there are a lot of Gen Zers like that. Zach's not one of them.
There is.
Yeah, and Zach's not one of them. And I know that, and the listeners know that, but sometimes I just have to remind myself of how young you are.
I know. I do give off some old man energy sometimes, so.
Well, it fits right in with me. So it's it's good. There was some old man yelling last night at the television. I'm eager.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm eager to talk to you about AEW World's End last night. You able to watch the show?
I was able to watch it live as it was happening last night. The whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, I mean, you're able to see, first of all, I'm excited that you're able to see your boys who were able to, some of your boys that were able to make it to the pre-show, like Jet Speed. Again,
they were the pre-show. There you go.
They did make the pre-show.
Yeah. Get that pay-per-view bonus, guys. Get that pay-per-view bonus.
Yeah. Which was good. Nice to see, Josh Alexander on the pre-show. It was nice to see, the Some people think the wrestler of the year, Bandito. Always good that like Ricochet is now the national champion. And I think he's not been in a spot where he's won a match since he won that championship and on the pre-show now.
Yeah.
So that's always good. But I was pumped up for this card. I won't lie, because of the matches in the Continental Classic and the main event we talked about on one of the previous shows, and they came right out of the gate. Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita in the semifinals of the Continental Classic. I feel like Zach McGibbon was pumped up at the beginning of this match.
I was fired up. I was out of my chair. I was like, here we go. Let's start things off with a bang and get things going. Let's get this pay-per-view on the right path here and start things off with Takeshita versus Okada.
Did you think it got on the right path because of this match?
Kinda, not really. Not because of the match itself.
Feels like a very Gen Z thing to say. Like a very,
there you go.
Very middle of the road. Like don't have an opinion.
Don't want to take a stance. No. Just kind of, twirl around it, No, I will say this. The match itself, I was really liking. I was really liking how it was being built up. I thought we were getting the Okada from New Japan working boots on Okada during this match, and there was some great back and forth. The finish, though, Versage, leaves a lot to be desired. I actually got into a bit of a debate with the Predictriver yesterday because we were texting back and forth as we were watching the show. And he was telling me he didn't mind the finish. He actually thought in terms of like what they were trying to build up to, it made a lot of sense. I wasn't as enthralled with the finish. While I understand what they were going for with the finish.
So let's just explain to people that the finish was that Kazuchika Okada reaches into, a pre-planned, we're going to put the screwdriver in the top rope turnbuckle. He finds it, uses it, and is able to get the pinfall victory over Konosuke Takeshita.
A little John Moxley against Kenny Omega strategy right there to try and get the victory. As you have eloquently put it many times on this show, whenever the screwdriver has been utilized in AEW. And Paul Turner's execution of that finish wasn't exactly great either. Not a great night for Paul Turner in general, really. But
no, it wasn't. And look, okay, so I thought the match was good until then.
Yeah.
I thought it went too slow at the beginning. I understand what they were trying to do is, very slow, methodical match between two people who know each other. And there's a little bit of a hatred between family members and all that stuff.
Yep.
I get why they did it that way. To me, that's the first 5 minutes of a main event. Like on a pay-per-view where you have 30 minutes, I'm okay with the first 5 minutes being like that. In this case, it was like, okay, we're going to start the pay-per-view off with these two, and we're going to do it really slowly.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, to me, it set the tone for the night, the way the crowd reacted. So I didn't think the crowd had a very good night either. Now, is it their fault? We'll talk about it. But as this match is going along, it's getting a little bit better. I thought they did a decent job in the build, but what the finish was, the idea of Kazuchika Okada having to cheat, and with the idea that the Continental Classic is not about that, and we didn't really see that in the round robin at all. I understand, like, I'm just going to call him Trevor. I can't stand the nickname, and he's not our champion anymore, and I don't have to call him that anymore.
You don't have to abide by the champion's rules.
So I'll go Mr. Struthers at this point.
Okay.
So I understand what Mr. Struthers is saying. Like, you have a whole tournament that nobody cheats, but then you have two family members against each other. I do understand the logic of Don Callis telling Kazuchika Okada where something was to help him and not telling Takeshita, and that coming out as the deciding factor in the match. I don't love it, but I understand. I don't think you can beat Takeshita clean if that's where you wanted to go. So you needed something to happen, and nobody's allowed out interference, so they had to pre-plan something. It's the screwdriver, which does tie to the Don Callis family. So there are some like connect the dots that work there.
Yep.
The execution of this was bordering on horrific.
Correct.
Because as you mentioned, I don't know what was supposed to happen for Paul Turner to not be there and seeing things, and like somehow he's distracted or whatever. But whatever they tried to do, that did not work at all. And it was so bad that they seemed a little confused, and then Turner turned around again. And it was like, oh my God. And it's a bit of a thud ending with two guys that you don't want a thud ending with. So I'll ask you. We try and be, look, it's easy to criticize the end of that match because, quite frankly, the execution was terrible. And it felt like a thud at the end of a match that was building between two top stars in the company. So what would you have done to have Takeshita lose? He's probably not going to lose clean because that doesn't help the family dynamic of continuing on the feud. I don't think. He is the IWGP champion, so you probably have to do something to protect him. What would you have done in that spot?
Well, I admittedly have not put that much thought into how to complete the finish and do a different finish because
Zach, always prepare for me to ask you. Always. How are you going to fix this? When you walk into my house, my studio, Zach, how are you going to fix this?
Yes.
Zach, how are you going to fix everything? You're the fixer.
The fixer. That's my wrestling gimmick.
The Gibbon fixer.
The Gibbon fixer,
which is caught on, by the way.
It has caught on.
Caught on.
Why am I not surprised that it's caught on? And now
catchy.
people are utilizing
That's why.
it.
Catchy.
That's probably why. If I were to put together a finish, first of all, I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to just doing like a clean pinfall victory. Like if everything aligned, all the stars align, you had Okada beat Takeshita, because the whole thing with this tournament is, this is pure professional wrestling. This is wrestling at its purest form. No run-ins, no managers getting involved. Like this is the cleanest, purest form of professional wrestling. And then if anybody dares run in this match, like you're going to get fired is what Tony Khan once said. Like we've established these roles. So the idea that this weapon would be utilized in this match, and it's like, the sanctity of the Continental Classic, run-ins, like big no-no, but taking a screwdriver out of the corner and jabbing the guy over the top of the head, that's okay. And we will move the guy on to the finals of the Continental Classic. You're like, our hands are tied. We can't, we didn't account for weapons when we were putting together the Continental Classic. Like, it feels like semantics at that point. Like it just kind of goes against, if you're going to tell me that this is going to be a pure wrestling tournament, live by it. And I understand the idea of having the heel find a dastardly way to get the victory, and so that you could protect Takeshita, and it sets up the story of the future. I get all of that. I get that argument. I just don't like it in the Continental Classic itself. You have this established thing. And I know in the first year they had a 3-way in the final, which was ungodly annoying, but you've established this thing as like, this is your pure wrestling tournament. All the best matches here happen in this tournament. And then you do that sort of finish. Even if the execution of the finish was well done and they were able to hit all the spots and they were able to execute it well, I still don't think I would like the finish just because of the placement of where it is on this card. And that forces you as a creative team to be more creative hence the name, try and find different ways to get the heel to overcome. So I to try and answer your question in terms of like what else could they have done, quite frankly, like if you're not going to beat the guy clean, if you're so worried that, you know, with the politics of the IWGP World Championship and it coming up at Wrestle Kingdom very soon, that I wouldn't even book this match and just continue the tease later on.
Okay, so what's your definition of dastardly or clean at that point? Like, can you get away with a low blow behind the referee's back?
Sure.
That's okay.
Like that's classic pro wrestling in my mind, is like the low blow, you know, or trying to find different ways to get around the referee, but like weapons and run-ins and all that to me doesn't fit the vibe of the Continental Classic, or like the eye poke or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
So
like,
I feel like you do, that there's a way to do this without a screwdriver being involved.
Yeah.
What I would have done, and I thought this in the moment, what I would have done is I would have had, like, Don Callis was out there on commentary during that match.
Yep.
I would have had, as Takeshita has Okada in a compromising position, maybe down and out, from the commentary booth, just sort of calling over to him and say, hey, look in the turnbuckle, look in the turnbuckle. And as Takeshita is looking in the turnbuckle, he can't find anything, but he's unraveled it. He's taken it off. And that's where Paul Turner could have, like, literally been putting it back on and out of the way.
Yep.
As Okada is either low blowing him or, as you said, sort of eye gouging him or doing something to get a one up and beating him that way. So I get, you know, and we revealed that there was never anything in the turnbuckle, and maybe Don Callis told him the wrong turnbuckle or something like that.
Yep.
I don't mind there being like that fine line of interference, but like you, all of a sudden the screwdriver is in the middle and that's the finish. And it's like at the end of an Okada Takeshita match, no matter if it's in the Continental Classic or not, you should never be going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that's how it ended. And I think that's how a lot of people felt.
Yeah. If there was ever a time to just do a pure professional wrestling match between Takeshita and Okada, now is a time not to try and tell a story here. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean by that?
Or just a quick foot on the rope as he's counting 3.
Yeah.
Like Okada gets away with just a tiny little bit. It's not a screwdriver to the head. It's just a foot on a rope. It's an eye gouge. It's a low blow. It's something. So Okada wins, and all of a sudden, I think a lot of people's favorites out of the tournament in Takeshita, thinking that he was going to win. And then they get right into match number 2. Kyle Fletcher and Jon Moxley. So I'll leave this one to you again, but all I'll say as I preface this match is I know that you recently put out the awards.
Yep.
Do you remember who my wrestler of the year was?
Your wrestler of the year was Hangman Adam Page, if I recall.
Oh, well, you don't recall very well.
Oh.
Wasn't it Kyle Fletcher?
I thought that was your breakout star of the year.
No.
No?
You praised me for picking Fletcher to be the wrestler of the year. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Gotcha. Yes. Kyle Fletcher,
folks,
yes.
Folks, this is why. Now people go back. It's like, no, you did pick Hangman. No, I don't. Yeah. I don't think I did.
No, I picked Hangman. I believe
and I was very close to picking Hangman.
Yes, that's That's what I remember now. Yes.
I'll just leave it here that my reasoning was that anytime that Kyle Fletcher was on a card, whether he was in the main event against Hangman, whether he was the TNT champion against Mark Briscoe, he was in the middle of the card, he was at the beginning of the card with Will Ospreay at the beginning of the year, he was at the end of the card. No matter where Kyle Fletcher was on the card, it was usually the best match on the card. I would say that as we continue on with this discussion, this was the best match on the card.
Easily, yes.
Easily. Okay, so we're on the same page here because I think easily as well.
We could have been on the same page for Wrestler of the Year, as in Hangman Adam Page. We could have been on the same Hangman Adam page.
We weren't, but thank God I was on a different book and chapter than Kyle Fletcher as you. But Jon Moxley and Kyle Fletcher in the other semifinal. This was tremendous. And it made me think of your soliloquy on Jon Moxley.
Oh.
And after watching this card, would you have changed your Wrestler of the Year with how great you thought Jon Moxley was and what he had done to the world of professional wrestling, and people don't understand, and you're slamming the table,
banging the desk,
telling us we don't get it. This is what pro wrestling is.
Yeah. Some people didn't want to hear it, Lee. Some people turned off the episode when I was trying to make that case.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Fletcher and Jon Moxley had easily the best match of the night. That's all I'll say. You can talk about the match here further with Jon Moxley defeating Kyle Fletcher.
God, this rocked. Thought this was an awesome match. Again, Jon Moxley, as I was watching this, I was like, man, maybe we should have postponed the awards a little bit later, because that match would have been fresh on my mind on Moxley being somebody that could have overtaken Hangman this year. Because I thought he did such a good job of being like, you were going in, it was going to be a tough spot anyway, because it was two heels going after each other, technically, heading into the match. But the story that they were telling in the Continental Classic, all these tough losses and everything that Jon Moxley had been preaching about trying to get the, pro wrestling back in AEW, to paraphrase. And boy, this match was awesome. I thought Jon Moxley was such a great babyface here. And for anybody that wants to just do the tired and repetitive argument of, all Jon Moxley does is bleed, and he blades, and that's all he does, and that's what makes his, other than a slight gash on his elbow and somehow his tooth being split accidentally in a corner spot with the steel steps, there was not any part of the match where blood was just gushing down Jon Moxley's face. This was a valiant, somehow, like, he came out there and I was like, man, I was rooting for Moxley to win. He had such a great babyface fire to him. Mm-hmm. And Kyle Fletcher, man, like, that guy, so good. I mean, he's already so good. I can't wait to see what 2026 will bring for him. If he's not a world champion by the end of the year, they're doing something wrong with him and not pushing him quick enough, because that guy is ready to go and primed. He took some crazy bumps. That bump he took, the suplex where he landed on his dome, is like, man, we're taking it back to All Japan in 1992, taking those head bumps, man.
Do we think that this was a planned spot?
Yes. I think that's a planned spot for sure.
Really? And they did it on purpose to look like that, and somehow they did it safely?
I think so. I think that I watched a little bit of that Van Vliet interview with Kyle Fletcher, and Fletcher talked, like, Van Vliet's like, you did this and you went and did a moonsault onto this and with a barbed wire and all this. He's like, yeah, I just was kind of feeling it. I wanted to kind of the adrenaline. When you have the adrenaline going, you don't really feel it. So I could totally believe that Kyle Fletcher's like, you know what? Let's go to the top rope, and I'm going to take a spike suplex right on the top of my head, Mitsuharu Misawa style, from the top. Sorry, I was just clicking. Click. Click. There you go. There's the reference. Yeah, I mean, if you want a more modern reference, you can go back to the Okada Omega matches. That very first match, it's almost the exact same spot, really, where Omega takes that insane suplex from the top. And so, yeah, I thought Fletcher was awesome here, and they went at a pace that was so high in this. This was very easily my favorite match of the night. I thought this rocked.
Yeah, I did too. That spot for me at first was like, nah, they didn't do that. And as it went along, and Superfan was like, maybe, and he looked okay afterwards and kind of setting up. But what I really liked about this match, although I think it's not the brightest thing in the world to actually do for Kyle Fletcher, but what I liked about it is the Renee Paquette kind of sideline report that Kyle Fletcher was deep in like watching John Moxley videos. He didn't even watch the first match with two members of his family. Didn't want to get caught up in it, and ended up watching, more John Moxley videos. Now, he probably should have been watching John Moxley videos before 10 minutes before the match.
Yep.
And for him to not be watching, the report that he wasn't watching factored into this match. And I thought very good, subtle storytelling, because when he went to look for the screwdriver that he thought was there, he didn't watch the first match. He didn't know Okada took it. He thought it was put there for him. And if he had just watched, he could have just gone under the ring and found it very easily.
Yeah.
Where Okada ended up putting it. So,
or if Callis had told him, just straight up said, hey, look, man, Okada just took your screwdriver. You're going to have to game plan. But, you got to get into a mental state, right? You got to get prepared. You're not looking at the monitor at that point when you're backstage. You're trying to get set for your next match.
So I thought that was good, subtle storytelling that he was looking for it, and they had already said that he wasn't watching the first match.
Yep.
Regardless of why he wasn't watching the first match. So I thought that was good. The bump was ridiculous, and then it ended up being like a reason why he's sort of, his neck was damaged and he gave out. And at this point, you had both people who won their groups not winning in the semifinals, which I like. Like, you don't always have to go with both of the number one seeds, and you don't always have to go with both of the guys who weren't number one seeds, number two seeds, but they mixed it up. And all of a sudden you got John Moxley and Kazuchika Okada. Now, again, Zach, I'm not one of these guys that likes to pat myself on the back and Barry Horowitz and all this stuff. But if I were that type of guy, I would again remind you, who you probably didn't listen to the show when I was on it. I'm on most of the shows, Zach. And when I speak, you pretend to listen, and you do it really well. But I said, I'm telling you, if Moxley wins the semi, what, Zach?
He's winning the finals.
Yeah. And then going up against Okada, did you think he was winning the final?
I did not think he was winning the final.
Oh, because you didn't listen to me on the show, Zach.
Yeah.
I said, if Moxley wins the semi, I'm telling you, he's not losing in the final.
Yeah. There were two thoughts that went through my head when Moxley won. One was, oh my God, Moxley won. And number two, Lee's going to tell me about how right he was.
No, so I will, again, this is not a full pat on the back, because when you asked me who would win the tournament, I did not pick John Moxley. So it's kind of like a 1B, cover all your bases, do it professionally, so that you can come on here and tell people, you said if Moxley won the semi, he wasn't losing.
Right. It's also the Zach McGibbon method, which has been called down. It's been called out and put down as not being being decisive or whatever.
Zach, if you need to do it smoothly and just sort of tuck it in.
Gotcha.
Because you were thinking, oh God, I'm gonna have to listen to Lee tell me he was right, and he was right.
He was.
Don't let Moxley win that semi, because if he does,
he's gonna win the final.
He's gonna win the final.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I think a really nice transition, because we'll talk about the final, It is Jon Moxley against Kazuchika Okada going into the final. But right after the 2 Continental Classic matches, I am like, this is actually one of the parts of the show that I'm looking forward to a lot. In not only, I mean, Sports Illustrated means a little bit to me, but Zach McGibbon's picks always mean more.
Okay.
And, Zach McGibbon thought that FTR was the best tag team in 2025. They're the best tag team in the world. Nobody had a better year than FTR. And here I was again, maybe saying, Zach, they were kind of on the pre-show for like 2 or 3 shows in a row and couldn't even make the main card. And they were doing their best jet speed impressions. But no, you're there, go. But it carried over into the beginning
show
of the show.
And it was a fun spot.
Oh,
it was a good match.
FTR, they're just the most professional. Like, they're just so great. Okay, FTR, bang, bang, gang. What did you think in the Chicago street fight, Zach? Because I thought this sucked.
I think the match is still going as we're talking about it, actually. So I don't know if I could give a full analysis of the match.
Zach, this is not good in a lot of different ways, but I would just like to sum it up for you, and I will let you talk about this. Okay. That was just my thoughts on this match were summed up in the 3 seconds after the 3 count by the crowd.
The rousing silence that came in.
Zach, I'm not sure people made a peep.
Yeah. Yeah. And the crowd went mild. It was unbelievable.
It was like, kind of thought like I thought. Oh, good. This is over.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a good look for me in my pitch for FTR being the best tag team of 2025.
Okay, and again, Zach, I say I'm going to let you talk, but every single time I think about something like this, I go back to my pick.
Yeah, which was the Young Bucks. And at least they made the main card there, Lee. FTR. I mean, the Young Bucks, I'm nowhere to be seen. Like, you're like,
they were hurt,
Zach, but nowhere to be seen.
They were hurt, Zach.
Oh, they were hurt.
They were injured. Oh,
gotcha.
Will Ospreay wasn't there. Like, yeah, Will Ospreay's hurt too, Zach. Okay?
Oh, I'm sure they're very hurt.
Their pride
was hurt because they heard me say that FTR was
Zach, we already heard the report that they made it seem egregious. The Young Bucks are going to be out for the rest of the year. And it's like, nobody tells you that it's December 17th when the report comes out, and like, it's hardly 2 weeks, but okay.
It's just like 2 weeks,
However, they were out. So my point with the Young Bucks, people can take it or leave it, is that when they're out there, they make other people better.
Yep.
I'm waiting for FTR to go out there and have a match to make other people better.
Yeah.
This was not it.
I want to clarify. I don't hate the Young Bucks. I'm not one of those people that just, they do a flip and then I lose my mind. Like, oh, this isn't professional wrestling. They did a flip or anything like that. I'm not that guy. All right. I'm the really cool looking moves guy on this show. All right.
Yep.
There's another bit click, but look, I've thought the overall package of FTR in terms of their character, in terms of the matches, in terms of the promos, the overall package was why I had them as the best tag team of the year. Now, look,
you watch the pre-show, and many people don't watch the pre-show, so it's able for you. I mean, you have that intimate knowledge of what they're actually doing because you watch the pre-show,
correct?
Which is where FTR's been half of the year. But okay, go ahead.
Well, and carry it over to the main show. But I was looking for it's like, all right, here we go. This is going to be the cherry on top, the bid that's going to make FTR go over the top. Say, see, this is why they're the tag team of the year. Look at the heat that they're getting. And then they punched, and then they kicked, and then they brawled around, and they did some more punching, and they did some more kicking, and then there was the spot with Big Stoke where he missed the table, and I love me some Big Stoke, but I'm like, oh, Stoke mistimed a little bit.
Dax went absolutely flying out to the other side. There was 2 or 3 like, those aren't supposed to happen bumps.
See, the stuff with Cash and Dax in terms of going to the outside, I actually thought kind of rocked. It's like, yeah, this guy's just going out there and just, guns a-blazing out there. But the Big Stoke one, it was like, oh, Stokely, come on, man. You're Big Stoke. Like, you're my guy. You can't be doing this to me right now. FTR, you can't be doing this to me right now. I know it's the Bang Bang Gang and Juice Robinson, the hairstyle. Here's a reference you never thought I'd say, but he looked like El DeBarge out there. That was my first.
El DeBarge.
Yeah.
You know what? That takes you ahead of Gen Z and right up to my age. That's fantastic.
There you go. Yeah, I looked at it, I was like, oh, he's got the El DeBarge haircut, all the curls, he's got the perm going. Like, wow, like that Juice Robinson really changing it up. I love me a Juice Robinson promo, but other than the match with Jay White as his tag partner against FTR a couple years ago on Collision, he's not the guy that goes out there to have standout matches. And tell me your favorite Austin Gunn match right now on the spot. It's hard to really.
I can tell you the one. That. It's the one where he wasn't in it.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But yes. So Big Stoke missed, and of course, it clearly threw FTR off because they had to do the shatter machine. They had to readjust on the shatter machine at the end. I'm like, oh, guys, you're really making me look bad here. Like, this is not good.
And then the longest wait ever.
Yes.
For Austin Gunn to come back in. They actually looked over their shoulder.
Yeah.
Referee's not counting fast. Everyone's
this was another Paul Turner rough night where he did the one pause, two, and then had to look across waiting for Austin Gunn to run.
Oh my God. And it was Dax, right? That turned around and actually was looking for him, waiting. I'm like, oh my God, guys.
I was like, oh man, this is not a good look right now. So look, I come here with my head in shame, and not a great way to end 2025. I still stand by my FTR pick, but I'm just going to try to avoid, this match when I discuss their case this year for Tag Team of the Year. And look, the Young Bucks, they had some good opponents as well that they face off against. Like I would be remiss I'd be shocked if they couldn't have a great match with Swerve and Ospreay. Like I'm sure FTR could have a great match with Swerve and Ospreay, but like what you said, I agree. The Young Bucks have more of a talent to be able to put their other tag team opponents over. So I want to see them go the ultimate test. And I say this as a big fan of this tag team. I love them as a lower mid-card tag team. They're my guys. In fact, some might even say they're the youngest men alive, Lee. I want to see the Young Bucks versus the Outrunners to see what the Young Bucks can pull out of the Outrunners in a match. Because I think that would be the ultimate challenge. Because I like the Outrunners as a lower mid-card, fun little tag team, not as a pushed commodity challenging for the tag team championships, which FTR had to face this year.
Okay, so I'll let you off the hook here. They're not my least favorite team in FTR. I just don't think they've done enough to elevate to make them feel like they were really special before, and now I don't feel like that, and I want to, so I'm probably a little bit harder on them. But there's a few just very botchy parts of their game now, and
I feel like when something gets thrown off in an FTR match, a whole bunch of other things get thrown off. They're not very good at when things go wrong. Look, stuff will happen in a match where things go wrong, but if you could recover, fine. I'm not going to hold it against you. It's tough to be perfect unless you're Kurt Hennig, but otherwise, it's tough to be perfect.
Yeah.
But with FTR, it seems like a lot of times when something goes wrong, like Big Stoke missing the table, hitting the edge of the table, then hitting his head on the back of the announce table, that all of a sudden they got thrown off. They weren't expecting that sort of bump. And then you have everything with the shatter machine and the slow count trying to set things up. And yeah, it was just not exactly not a great match. A lot of kicking and a lot of punching in this match.
Yeah.
A lot of kicks, a lot of punches.
Which is FTR's thing, unfortunately. And then they come up with a couple other people that they can't, the other people, Bang Bang Gang, aren't going to do much more. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about stipulations and placements, because this was then the first part of what I thought was quite frankly, a horrible middle of the card. But I didn't understand exactly why. And this will kind of lead us into, I guess we'll skip over a match or two, because I didn't I understand after two Continental Classic matches that you would have something different after those matches, which would be, a Chicago street fight. But what I didn't understand was why that stipulation was in a tag team match for the tag team titles that, should be like in a wrestling, like 30 minutes time limit. There are DQs and countouts because you want to win the tag team championship away from somebody else. And 2 matches later, you had a very regulated, as far as like people wouldn't know if they watched, but there was a time limit. There were DQs. There were countouts in the Darby Allin Gabe Kidd match, which is like, of any match that's going to be a Chicago street fight, why would you ever have it in the tag team match and not in the Gabe Kidd Darby Allin match?
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that either. Like, I get why you'd want to do something completely different from the first 2, other than the screwdriver technical matches in the Continental Classic. You're trying to mix up some of the things that people are watching. I just would have, I don't, it seems like overthinking to have Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd after he threw him down a flight of stairs and they're both going to bleed profusely, to have that be the normal match, but then the tag team match for the titles be the Chicago street fight, when they really didn't do like crazy street fight things.
No.
So I need you to explain the stipulations and the placement of these matches.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially with the amount of blood, as you mentioned, that was in the Gabe Kidd Darby Allin match. I feel like it would just work better, especially with the Darby Allin match. It's like, all right, I got thrown down the stairs because I'm Darby Allin, and not the first time I've been thrown down the stairs in AEW. So I'm mad about that. And I was like, you know what? You want to take it to another level? Let's go to Chicago. Let's have a street fight. Mm-hmm. Seems pretty simple enough. But yeah, I especially with FTR too. And look, I think with FTR, even though I think they put the stipulation in to try and protect the Bang Bang gang a little bit, because I think it helps them do a little bit more. I think it would just be a better stipulation if it was just a straight up tag team title match between FTR and Bang Bang gang. So I was also a little bit perplexed about that. Felt like you could have switched it up and you would have gotten a lot more of people living up to their stipulations, and you wouldn't have to worry about a spot being blown up in the tag team match and everything being falling apart after that. But yeah, other than that, in terms of the match itself, I did enjoy Darby Allin, Gabe Kidd, but the problem is I think Tony Khan thinks Gabe Kidd is a bigger star than what he actually is. I think he presents him as like, oh, he's this guy from New Japan, and he had the great match with Kenny Omega earlier this year. And look at him, and he looks like a guy, like he's gotten himself in some great shape. And I think he's somebody to keep an eye on, but New Japan hasn't exactly pushed him as a big star over there either. So why would you expect him to be a big star in America, especially when that fan base, I think, is very different than the fan base was in 2021.
Just Gabe Kidd is a guy that you could, if pushed the right way over a period of time, I think you could get over.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. They kind of bring him in and he's with the Death Riders and he's here every now and again. And then all of a sudden he comes in, he pushes Darby down the stairs, and now he's in a match and people are like, who is this?
Yeah. And like, I know he's, as you mentioned, he's involved with the Death Riders and they put him in the storyline, but he hasn't really been a focal point of the Death Riders either. He's just more been the add-on when they need an extra person, when they have to do the multi-man matches.
Yeah.
So it ends up just being like, oh yeah, Gabe Kidd, like it's cool that you got a guy from a different company that's wrestling on your card and getting a showcase, but this isn't Kazuchika Okada in 2018 you're bringing over here to be your focal point. This is a guy that is still kind of on the ascent and not there yet. And I think there is potential, but it's not there yet. And so, again, while I like the match, and I think there's a lot to like about Gabe Kidd, and Darby Allin obviously is going to put his body on the line for stuff like this, it just ended up feeling like when you're watching it, you were kind of like the crowd, where it was like, well, these two are having a good match, but there really wasn't much to really sink your teeth into, and Gabe Kidd is not at an overness level to really kind of cement his spot as a singles guy on a pay-per-view card.
And especially to me that I thought Gabe Kidd was going to win.
Yep.
While the match was going on, because I didn't understand like Darby getting like, I don't want to say a lucky pin, but the two have brutalized each other and he finds a way to beat him at the end. But it's not like he dominated Gabe Kidd. Him getting kind of a lucky one over some guy that nobody knows is like, okay. When you're right, they had a good match. Like they both sacrificed, they both bled, it was good. It's just, I don't know what it meant.
Yep.
Other than just an exhibition.
Yep.
So yeah, just strange placement on the show for both of those matches. Sandwich in, we had another AEW Tag Team Championship match. Babes of Wrath against Mercedes Moné and Athena, who I suppose got a pinfall against them a couple of weeks ago. But again, I didn't quite see why the TBS champion and the Ring of Honor champion were suddenly a team going after the tag team championship when they didn't really have a big story to get there. This felt like, honestly, Zach, this felt like a way to get Mercedes Moné on the show. How can we get Mercedes on and maybe continue a storyline, which they did? I thought this one was just okay, but they do get the storyline over that. And they did this one right, that Mercedes took the pin and then, interview after where she kind of lost her mind, regained herself, lost her mind again.
Yep.
Athena's mad that she got pinned again. Yeah, and this might be harsh. It's just, I haven't got through a Harley Cameron Willow Nightingale match without a couple of botches.
Yep. And there were a couple here.
Again, and they always go back to, well, Harley Cameron's only been wrestling for 3 years, and I get it. Like, you don't expect them to be perfect, but when I watch this match, I think two things. Number one, that Mercedes Moné is better than anybody else in the ring, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
And then second of all, Athena is actually really damn good, and why hasn't she been featured on AEW television and just drop the Ring of Honor title and put herself in the mix so that people can watch her every week? Because she's actually quite good. And both of them are better than the champions. That's just how I felt during the match.
Yeah.
And watching it, we say it all the time, but I'm going to say it until I don't feel it. It feels like, okay, we need to do this spot, and then we need to do this spot. And at the beginning, they did this very choreographed spot where both ducked and then both came back, and then Athena and Mercedes did the same thing. It's like, oh, this just isn't natural. Nobody fights like this.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think they did the right thing in Mercedes taking the pin in this one. To me, that's probably the best part about the match.
Yeah, no, it was the right finish, and obviously it's set up for later on, as you mentioned. By the way, a lot of F-bombs on this show, a lot of F-words being thrown around on the AEW pay-per-view. So does that mean I can say the F-word now on This Is Wrestling? Have we
well, what I would say is, well, here's how I would judge it, Zach. Who do you think who said the F-words? Mercedes?
There's Mercedes. I believe Moxley said it at one point. And there was one more that all of a sudden, MJF. MJF said it at the end. So
I would classify them as like three of, if not like the three biggest stars. I mean, we could argue about a couple other people, but there are three very big stars of AEW.
Yep.
So let's let the stars be able to do that, Zach. Okay. Okay. Let's let the stars take care of that.
All right. We'll let the stars do their jobs out there.
No, that's the whole point, that you're not supposed to be able to say it. You're not quite at that level. That's me. That's the whole bit, Zach.
Oh, darn. Am I going to have to throw some coins into the swear jar now, into the This Is Wrestling swear jar? But
yeah, for you, yeah. The big stars, they can get away with this stuff.
Yeah. I still am going to go back and do the censor beat for both of us, just for the sake of the, for the sake of the, but in terms of, look, with Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, I'm not exactly watching the Jumping Bomb Angels out there whenever they're wrestling. So I knew you would like that. So, I mean, Harley Cameron.
Poor Leilani Kai.
I know, right? I've got another women's tag team that I'm saving for the future whenever we talk about this tag team of Willow and Harley. But Willow Nightingale, look, I quite like Willow Nightingale. I think she's great. I think right now this is pretty clear that they want to try and elevate Harley Cameron, and they're using the tag team belts as a way to elevate her and put her into a spot where she's with these other elite level workers to try and like get the reps in and try and be better in the ring. And look, Harley's been saying that she is committed to it and looking to try and get better. We'll see where she can go on the improvement level. Obviously the charisma's there, the look and all that.
Yep.
So just the wrestling needs to catch up. And I think she knows that too. So would I have put the tag team belts on them in order to accomplish somebody getting better? Probably not, but that's the strategy that they're going with. And in terms of setting up a future match between Nightingale and Mercedes Moné, I think that's a smart strategy to do that and to do the New Year's Smash show, which they announced a little bit later. So in terms of getting stuff that they wanted accomplished done, that's what they were able to do. But like what you said, it wasn't an all otherworldly match or anything like that. So it was kind of another match on the card for me.
Yeah, and
not
so
bad, but it was not great either.
Right. So this is now a problem I didn't think necessarily that AEW was going to have, but like all federations have this now. Their two tag team title matches were both mid-card, were both kind of throwaway matches. The women's was better than the men's, and that's not saying a lot. And there's just not a lot of focus. Like I remember, and I will still complain because your boys, the Outrunners, got a pay-per-view title match against the Hurt Syndicate. Big Bill and Brian Keith got a tag team title match on a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Lashley won and lost them the belts without ever having to lay his shoulders down.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of focus on great tag team matches. And that's why the Brodito thing was a real nice surprise, because they let them be a tag team. They put a little bit of focus on them. They went in and did their thing and kicked some ass. And it was awesome. It was like, we need to do more of this. Even if you don't think that somebody should be a tag team, it's like Hangman and Kenny were champs very early in AEW. They didn't necessarily get along. How about you just choose a few people and say, hey, guess what? You're in the tag team ranks now. That's what you're doing.
Right.
You have enough talent to be able to do that. That's what you're doing. And we're going to commit to you like we committed to Brodito. And we're going to have more than two teams. Like, if you could tell me what's happening, because I thought that they were going somewhere with the Max Caster and Anthony Bowens.
Yeah.
And they like each other, but they don't like each other, but they were a successful and it's like, okay. And then 2 months ago, they were doing a storyline and nothing ever happened, and they didn't get them back into the tag team.
Yeah.
And all of the private parties of the world, and like, where are these people? And then, of course, they bring back Jack Perry and they're like, okay, well, you're going to be with Luchasaurus, but actually Darby got hurt, so you're going to be in the tournament and Luchasaurus can give out presents. Right?
Yes. Because that's what you do in pro wrestling. You have to do with the Christmas theme show. You have to. Yeah. You have to do Christmas theme stuff. There's no other option, as it's been laid out to me by other people when I say, hey, this is kind of stupid. Why are we doing this on the AEW show? Save it for WWE. But no, Lee, you have to do this. It's pro wrestling. Right. Lighten up.
Well, good segue, because after those 3 matches, the Dapper Yapper, Justin Roberts, comes out. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. It is time for the Mixed Nuts Mayhem. What? Like, first of all, as a guy who I guess didn't concentrate enough on every match, I didn't know this match was on the card. And then having a Mixed Nuts Mayhem match. Zach, what are we doing?
Well, if we're mixing nuts, shouldn't be trail mix then? Shouldn't be a trail mix match? That's what I was thinking.
What are we doing, Zach?
Yeah.
The Death Riders against the Conglomeration. Timeless Tony Storm. And I can tell you, the only thing I cared about in this match, the only thing before it started, was that what am I going to get to see Marina Shafir and Roderick Strong go at it?
Yeah.
As a married couple on each side of the ring. We got a very small tease of it. That's about it.
Yep.
So again, I just don't understand. We went from a Chicago street fight to a quote unquote normal wrestling match, Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin, that was anything but. And then we're going to have a Mixed Nuts tag team match. I just, Zach, I didn't love this.
No.
You must have loved the Tony Storm, Orange Cassidy. A little chemistry there.
Oh,
Zach,
yeah.
dancing in the middle of the ring.
Oh,
spots while they're in the middle of dancing in the ring. Yes.
Yeah, this is just Zach McGibbon wrestling right here. Ziggibbon wrestling right here. I was like, oh, yeah, this is what I look for in my professional wrestling is dancing, gimmicks. I don't mind a dancing gimmick here, okay? That's kind of one of my guilty pleasures in pro wrestling. I'm an Alex Wright guy. I've said it on the show. I love these
Disco
Alex
Inferno
Wrights.
Guy.
This guy, I enjoy the Disco Inferno gimmick. Glenn Gilberti can screw off, but Disco Inferno, like I'm in. The only real dancing gimmick that didn't get over with me was Brodus Clay, the Funkasaurus. I thought that was like a line too far. But overall, like I'm into the dancing gimmicks. I love me get a little dance on before you get in the ring. I get it.
Give me some Akeem.
You know what? I'll take Akeem, the African Dream.
Right.
I was wishing for him in this match at some points, but
I was hoping that he would get hit again. One of my favorite spots ever is Dusty hitting him with the elbows. Yeah. And him sort of being hurt, not knowing where he is, and sort of dancing.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? You know what? I think I cut you off before you finished it off, but this will be a deep cut, but I recommend people go on YouTube and search Larry Sweeney doing a dance off with a one-man gang. Okay. Who was he challenged him to a strut off, and he brought out the little Akeem hat, and they both started dancing in the ring, and it was actually legitimately like a nice little moment there. So rest in peace, Larry Sweeney. But yes, in terms of this match, it's like, oh, we got some wacky hijinks, Lee. In the same show where the Continental Classic, where the purest of pure wrestling other than screwdrivers happens in the show. You get all these pure wrestlers going out there. They're just kicking the crap out of each other, right? Just really laying it on the line. Now we get this. We've got a little dance number that Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm put together there. I saw that. It's like, you don't think that they're going to rekindle that for the future and they're going to do some more stuff? And they're like, oh, they see dollar signs. They're like, we could put Orange Cassidy with Tony Storm and we could extend this out. Sure, Orange Cassidy could have been one of our big baby faces for his underdog spirit like he had with the International Championship. We could have done that. Or we could have more dance numbers with Tony Storm in the future. That way we could showcase them on TV. I mean, really, you're at a conundrum there if you're AEW, what you want to do. So, and clearly they made their decision. So, look, the match itself, when we actually got to some of the moves and the spots, I I felt like I was watching a Dynamite match in some cases. Like I was like, hey, wasn't bad.
That was actually mentioned as we were watching it as well.
Yeah.
That it felt like a classic match on Dynamite.
Yep.
Which is okay, but it's not Dynamite.
Yeah.
It's a massive pay-per-view at the end of the year. That's exactly how it felt.
Yeah.
So then, after the mixed nuts match, not a great time for Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter to come out because, quite frankly, it had been 4 absolute duds in it. Not duds. I shouldn't say that. The Gabe Kidd Darby Allin match wasn't a dud. It was just I didn't get some of the surrounding elements of the
they were not actively bad matches. I wasn't watching them and being like, oh, this is the worst professional wrestling I saw.
No.
That Survivor Series we reviewed a couple weeks ago. This was just more like, I was hoping for more, and there needed a little bit more build in some of these matches. Clearly that they were relying on the Continental Classic and the World Title to carry them over.
And that's what it felt like. It felt like there's just a whole bunch of blah in the middle, and we're just going to throw it all there. And I actually felt a little bit bad for Statlander and Hayter because the crowd seemed a little worn out. Not that they were into it in the Moxley Fletcher match, but they lost all momentum after that and never really got it back. And then they went out there, and then there was the second spot of the night that you felt like, yeah, I don't know that one was supposed to happen, was Statlander with Jamie Hayter off of the top rope landing on her neck. And you're like, are they just trying to kill each other here tonight? That did not look great, Zach. I can't imagine that was planned.
The spinning, right on the top. I thought it was cool as hell. I liked it. I was like, you know me, Lee, I love my really cool looking moves, so I thought it was a really cool looking move. And I know you got Hayter like holding on to the top of her head and all that. And,
it looked like she died.
Yeah, it looked cool. It's like, I didn't think, I thought it looked sick. I thought it was like, wow, that's pretty nifty that they were able to pull something like that and just say, screw it, we're going to try and get this crowd back in, and I'm just going to spin off the top rope and drive your head into the mat, but I'm built different, I guess. I don't get too worked up about wrestlers performing moves and making the risks that they want to make. So I like the match. This was probably, like, other than maybe the Okada Takeshita match, maybe my second favorite match of the show. I thought these two went out there, had a real solid match. It would be lower on other AEW pay-per-views for sure. No denying that. But what we got here, I think it was a pretty... Statlander has good matches, and Hayter, I think, is fantastic. I just think with Statlander, they're clearly trying to push her as a top women's star, and I don't think she has the talking ability or enough charisma to be able to pull it off. And I was somebody that was a big proponent of getting Statlander into this spot and pushing her, but I've heard like she's very like great to talk with backstage and like really well liked by the locker room and all this, but it's just sometimes it just doesn't translate to TV. You never know who's going to be like super charismatic backstage, and you would never suspect it. But then once the lights go on and the cameras have the little red light come up at the end, it just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't translate. Like I heard for the longest time, you'll be shocked to hear this, but I heard for the longest time that Jake Hager is an unbelievable charismatic force backstage. Like he is like a character backstage, which shocked me when I heard it. But then the camera goes on and it's like, he's back to like, his eyes are all widened and he's like, oh my God, I actually have to do this now in front of multiple other people. Yeah. So sometimes it just happens, right? And I'm not a anti-pushing Chris Statlander or anything like that. It was just right now we're a couple of months in and I'm just kind of seeing how this title reign is going. And I think the matches have been there and I didn't have any doubt that the match quality would be there. But I think everything else in terms of the total package, like try to describe the Chris Statlander character for me.
Well, So that's where I was going to go. It's like, for me, it feels like they're not picking a lane with her.
Yeah.
They're sort of coming in the middle of, we're going to try and make her just a great women's professional wrestler who's the best wrestler in the group, but we're also going to try and get over this sort of cosmic galaxy, quite frankly, very odd thing that we're going to try to have it catch on with people who can relate to her. I'm like, I just don't, as a person who doesn't relate to whatever she's trying to get people to connect to, it's one thing to not have me connect, but it's another thing to have me go, who is connecting with her? Like, there are times where things don't, like, they aren't my thing, but you can see that the majority of the audience, whatever that is, whatever percentage, is connecting with somebody. And you're like, okay, I just don't, but it's still over. I don't know what people are trying to connect to with her.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I don't know a lot of people that connect to her. So it's like, just pick a lane. Pick that she's going to be a great professional wrestler that isn't so egotistical like Mercedes Moné that she can kind of check that aside and be just great and humble. Or, okay, you're going to have a character that you're going to give to her. Be the character. But I kind of find she's in the middle of it. And quite frankly, I find that with Jamie Hayter as well. Like, I don't quite know what Jamie Hayter is, and I know she's good in the ring. I don't see her elevate other top talents, and I would like her to kiss her bicep less.
Little Scott Steiner, kissing the bicep.
Yeah. Scott Steiner had a reason to kiss his bicep.
Yeah.
He had maybe the biggest bulge of a bicep I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yes. His peaks, Lee. His peaks.
Jamie Hayter does not.
No. Well, she does it because she throws all those lariats, right? That just knocks people off of their feet.
Right. I'm going to take the over in all of our pick'em pools, over-unders with Jamie Hayter kissing her bicep.
Yeah. It's the Pentagon El Zero Miedo. How many times he does Zero Miedo in a match.
But okay, so is Jamie Hayter a heel?
I think right now she's a babyface. It feels like it's kind of was a babyface going to the match.
Okay. I don't, that's again.
But I was going to say, I think I can't definitively come here and say, yeah, absolutely, she's a babyface. Are you watching the product, Lee? Like, how could you not say that? Blah, blah, blah. I can't.
Right. I don't really know what she is. And I don't know how people connect to her either.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't think the placement was great. I didn't think this match was as good as you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely put Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin ahead of it. I would put Okada and Takeshita ahead of it. Sierra, I say I'd put the mixed nuts ahead of it.
You really like the dancing between Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy?
No, I didn't. I just didn't like this match at all. I thought it was.
I forgot to mention with the mixed nuts thing too, where I can't believe I said that out loud, but with the entrance of the conglomeration, where it was kind of like a Full House style entrance where they're all like,
oh my God, thank you for bringing this up.
Yes.
What in the Zach? What in the world was that? And you can bleep that one out too.
Got some editing to do tonight.
No, but Zach, like most of the people that were in it were Willow and somebody else that wasn't actually in the match.
Yeah, Ishii, I think had a.
Of course, Ishii.
Yeah,
was in it tons.
Yeah,
doing this little Full House thing. I'm like, what is going on? Why are you doing this? I was yelling. Why?
But Lee, it's supposed to be funny. Laugh, haha. Have a laugh, Lee. It's pro wrestling. Don't take it so seriously.
No, I just. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I hated that.
They should have licensed Billy Gunn's theme, the one Billy Gunn.
All right, Kazuchika Okada and Jon Moxley in the finals. We've already kind of spoiled it. Jon Moxley does beat Kazuchika Okada. Superfan is very unhappy at what has transpired.
Yes.
Before we get to sort of the remnants of the Continental Classic as a whole, did you like the final?
I have mixed feelings about the final. Mixed. Didn't love it. Didn't like it. Didn't hate it. Didn't. All
right. Didn't love it. Didn't like it. Didn't hate it.
Yeah.
What did you feel, Zach, after 3 negatives?
I kind of felt like I was that's it. Like I was hoping for more. I thought that I was like, all right, Okada's got his working boots on. We saw in the Takeshita match. And I know these two have had matches in the past in New Japan. They've had very good matches in the past. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, we're going to have a good match here. And Moxley, like, I thought the way that Moxley was wrestling is like, we're going to get a great match here. I'm really looking forward to this final. And we just kind of stuck under this one gear throughout the match and not full gear in this match.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It was mid gear.
It was very, it just, we kind of got back to Okada working the American wrestling TV styles. Like, I'm going to do enough to showcase I can do all this stuff.
Right.
But I'm not going to like go 100%. But enough to show you that I'm still there, but I'm not going to go 50% either.
The way they were putting it over, too, was that Jon Moxley basically didn't have a leg. And this was one-way traffic. Maybe they kept saying this is maybe the most lopsided match in all of the Continental Classic. I'm like, have you watched Mike Bailey's matches? No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How dare you? The Kyle Fletcher match? That was awesome. How dare you?
Yeah.
That's a great match.
Yeah. Nothing like getting people over. Well, you know, they're never going to advance. By the way, there's so much to talk about after the Continental Classic, because think about the choke job that Pac did. But I know we're talking about the final, but Pac needed 2 points out of Jack Perry and Kevin Knight. He just needed one win, or he needed to just not lose to both of them. Couldn't do it.
No.
That's no wonder he didn't show up at the pay-per-view.
I was just going to say, probably didn't want to show his face anymore after that.
That's one of the biggest choke jobs ever. And then you can remind me how well Claudio started in this tournament.
Yeah. And then not the finish he was looking for either.
No. Lost to Jack Perry at the end too, right?
Yeah. Poor Claudio.
Yeah.
Never escaping the locked on sight of Lee Versage as Claudio Cassidy.
Well, no, he started out like a house on fire and then couldn't make the final and choked it away at the end like he always does. 2 massive like Toronto Maple Leaf 4-1 lead choke jobs from Pac and Claudio. So this match, you would think again that Kazuchika Okada and Jon Moxley, if they just fought on a show, even if like nothing else was on the line, you'd really look forward to it, and you probably wouldn't be disappointed at the end. I love that Moxley won this tournament. I just didn't get anything out of the final.
Yeah.
It's not a match I would tell people to go back and watch.
Yeah.
So Jon Moxley wins the Continental Classic and then does a full babyface promo with the Death Riders in the ring. Did you think at all that the Death Riders were going to turn on him at that point?
Yes. The way that they were lined up, I was like, oh, here we go. This is the firing squad of the Death Riders here. It's going to take out Jon Moxley and take him out once and for all. But the swerve which is what usually happens in AEW, is that there is no swerve. That's the swerve. It's like a swerve within a swerve, but not a swerve. Yeah, I thought that Moxley, I thought this was setting up for Moxley being taken out, the story that they were telling, and instead they went in a different direction, which our AEW super fan not happy about. Like he went into the group chat we're in as well and just was like, I thought he had accidentally switched his tape to a WWE PLE. Like he was so mad. Like I couldn't believe how much he invests.
So look, I'm not going to take his side, but I'm going to try to explain his point of view.
Yep.
Where he loves this tournament. And I think you mentioned it earlier, they have billed this tournament as, a clean professional wrestling tournament with the best of the best in it. And it's at least his contention that he had to follow it for 6 weeks, and it was pretty awesome along the way, including like a 6-way tie going into the last night, which, by the way, I would really like to bring up soon. A 6-way tie going into the last night on a taped collision that you couldn't find to be able to watch.
Correct.
Things I don't get. But anyway, a 6-way tie, and then you invest all of your time into it to get this, like a screwdriver. You get, Okada losing, you get Takeshita losing, you get Fletcher losing, and you get John Moxley, who did throw a low blow in there as well. I know Okada cheated in the final as well, but he had a low blow that had zero consequence on the match. And all of a sudden now John Moxley, who put a bag over Bryan Danielson's head when they were last in the arena, is being cheered as the winner of the Continental Classic. And it felt very flat from that point of view, that they didn't continue a lot of what they did through the 6 weeks from Thanksgiving to Christmas. They didn't continue that on to the pay-per-view. Superfan not happy.
Not a happy fan. Not a super fan in this case. Yeah, so I will say I actually was kind of like the direction they're going here. It's different. Look, if a man can go on TV and burn another man's house down and still get cheered for that, like I don't anything is up for grabs at this point in professional wrestling. Okay. Like let's remember the needle to the face. Oh yes, that's right. You got the squirting now outside the other end of the face. Yeah. So look, if that can happen on a pro wrestling show, a guy that led a group that ran roughshod all over the company, suddenly turning babyface a year later, despite almost murdering a man a year ago. Like really, I think we could let the tone be okay on that one. I kind of like that direction. And when you really kind of add it up, we had some teases of it throughout the tournament of some babyface elements of John Moxley. Mm-hmm. And now we thought it was going, I think we were all thinking it was going in the direction where he's eventually going to get kicked out. And then that's going to cement the babyface run for Moxley once he's kicked out of the Death Riders. But instead it's going to be well within the Death Riders. And when you really think about the core initiative of the group of the Death Riders, it was, we need to bring AEW back to a state where it was, where it was all about pro wrestling, essentially, just paraphrasing. And over the last couple of months, you had him lose to Hangman. You had him lose to Kyle O'Reilly. He had all these big losses, and he realizes that, these guys are good, ready to go. And then the Continental Classic is what kind of really revamps that for him. Like it revitalizes him, and he realizes that the company is in a good state because of the competition that he got to face off against over the last couple of months. And he feels like the company is in better hands. Is it the best story in the world? Not necessarily. But it's an interesting direction to go with John Moxley. And I am intrigued at where it goes. And I'll tell you, after some of the babyface performances we saw from him, and especially in that Fletcher match, I'm really interested to see how a babyface Moxley will do over the next little bit.
So again, I mean, I told you, if Moxley wins the semi, he's not losing the final. Right. And there's a reason for that. I don't mind the story either. And I like I don't want to say the unpredictability of the whole card, but the unpredictability of you didn't really know who was going to win the Continental Classic. And when Takeshita got pinned by Okada, I really didn't know. And it just kept going. And then Fletcher got pinned, and then Okada got pinned. And you're like, I like the fact that I didn't know what was going to happen. And as you said, to have Jon Moxley now still be the leader of this group with this almost pure form championship. I guess my question is, do you think that the rest of the group follows along? They did last night and they cheered him. And all of a sudden, Wheeler Yuta, nobody's yelling, bleep you. I could just say the word now because I've said it twice already, but
that's right. But it would make my editing job a little bit rougher, but sure.
Yeah. So I won't. But now, like, we're supposed to cheer Claudio and cheer Wheeler. I think people do want to cheer Marina Shafir just because she's a badass.
Yep.
And I just like to throw in, I always like to say things before I forget. It would be really nice for me that just let me know and wake me up when Mina Shirakawa wins a match. Because I feel like she's in the Mike Bailey. She
doesn't win a lot either.
Yeah, no, she's in the Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight.
The prediction of her, a big fan of Mina Shirakawa. Let me just say that too.
Oh, big yeah? Fan. Yeah, he's a big Stardom guy, right?
He is a big Stardom guy.
Yeah. Yes. So just ask him how Mina and Blake Monroe are doing lately. And I'm sure he'll love how
provide some explanations and I'm just anticipating the message right now as we're speaking.
Stardom just leads people to bigger and better things. Okay.
Yes. Had a good year.
So do you think that the rest of the group is going to continue to go along with them?
No,
because they did last night. So you do think they're going to turn?
Yeah, I think eventually they're going to turn. I think they're going to ask some questions about why the shift and all of a sudden this change of focus and all that. And I think it's eventually going to lead to Moxley getting ousted at some point.
So is there another leader on the horizon? Because I don't think it's within the group.
I was going to say, do you want to make the elevation of a Garcia or a Yuta to be the leader?
I'm so glad you brought this up because I thought Daniel Garcia joined the group to get serious. And he was out there last night clowning around and dancing and doing all kinds of things that I'm like, what are you doing in this group? I thought you were supposed to be serious. I thought you were going to change your ways. And he's just out there being Daniel Garcia again, except with black trunks. I'm like,
yeah.
So no is the answer to anybody in that group. I mean, Pac is the only person that would have a chance to do it.
Yep.
I do feel like I shouldn't even say that. The other person's Marina that could do it. But both of them are decent talkers, but they're not like the crazy talker. Is there somebody else on the roster that you think could fit into that group and suddenly be a leader of it?
Can I throw a name out there that might be a little bit out of left field, especially considering what happened to this person in their involvement of the Death Riders? Is it possible you go with the Bryan Danielson here and to mark with his return into wrestling? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible because as the leader, he wouldn't have to wrestle very much and you could really limit what he was able to do in the ring and protect him, and he could be the voice of the group. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad suggestion. It's kind of the same thing I think they should do with Adam Cole, not with the Death Riders, but like bring Adam Cole in. We saw him at the beginning of the show on tape. Seems like he's going to be around a little bit more. As like, just bring him back and let him even manage Roddy and Kyle and have them be a real tag team in a tag team division. Imagine that.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Oh, all these crazy ideas you're throwing out there, Lee. Having a tag team and a real tag team division.
Yeah.
Whoa.
A tag team that's won gold in like many other places and people want to get behind and
wow.
Put them in the tag team division. And like, yeah, I know
Next thing you know, Lee's going to come on here and say people should win their matches so that they could get over. Like that would be just way too crazy. Way too crazy.
Yeah, I'll give you one other guy only because he's very top of mind. That I could see at least. And you tell me, like, I'm going to hit you with the same, like, I might be way out of left field here. But what about the new world champion?
MJF as the leader of the Death Riders. Maybe that could be our transition into the main event review.
That's nice. What pros do, Zach.
That's what the pros do.
Yeah. What do you think about MJF as the leader of the Death Riders?
The man does know how to lead stables. He's led a lot of stables throughout his time in AEW, whether it be the Pinnacle, whether it be being friends with Adam Cole, and during that godforsaken storyline I had to go through for a year. He is a leader of stables, so I wouldn't rule it out.
Plus, he's got the championship. He brings a ton of legitimacy to the group, and it gives him a bunch of people that he can boss around. And so Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia can learn from MJF, but then get caught and be the pin eaters all the time with all the baby faces chasing them again. I don't know. I don't mind it.
Yeah. And there's the feeling too of Yuta and Garcia. I think they're just a little bit younger than MJF, but like by like a year or two, and just like having to be taught how the game works by MJF. I think there's an interesting element there. It's like, listen here, kid, how the business works.
So we get into the main event. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, and MJF. What did you think of the 4-way for the world title, Zach?
Oh, it was good. I didn't think it was blow away or anything like that. I thought in terms of, how 4-ways go, it wasn't really like a storyline driven match per se. It was kind of, we're going to go through these different elements and each guy is going to make sure they get their moves in, sort of 4-way. It was kind of interesting in that sense, where they did try to make the 4-way match different. It's not my favorite match type for them to do, especially in that company. I wish they could just kind of stick with their singles matches or whatever and kind of keep these 4-ways and 3-ways out of it. But for what we got here, I thought it was solid. It wasn't it wasn't a blow-away match or anything like that. I think I wanted a little bit more from it for me to really enjoy it. But what we got, I think, was solid. I think it was a solid main event.
Yeah, I would feel that way too. I wanted it to be a match that you would have to go back and watch. I can't remember. Did I say this to you on the show? It all bleeds together. Of how much I loved the promo on Dynamite. Loved it. Thought it was what you would show people. And then how I thought on the Collision was like, they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to. Like, it was just, I don't know, MJF. Swerve I didn't think was great. And he's usually quite good. And I didn't think he was very good on the microphone that night. And MJF was just in a chain for like the longest time ever before they ended up telling him. And then Joe was on tape because he wasn't even there that night.
And they stopped beating him up to look up at the screen.
Yeah. And everyone's looking up, and it was just really odd after such a great promo on Dynamite that you just didn't have to do one other thing other than going into the match.
Yep.
So Yeah, that's kind of the way I felt about it too. It was good, but I wanted it to be with 4 of those guys. You want it to be a match you'd tell other people to go back and watch, and I wouldn't do that again with this one. But I do like MJF being the champion. I would have liked anybody to be the champion other than Joe, but especially MJF, it brings a different element. Probably with Swerve and Hangman chasing him now. I doubt Joe's going to be in the chase, but both of them chasing him and basically getting in each other's way. That's the way it feels like it's going to go.
Yeah.
So MJF is your new world heavyweight champion. And I thought, okay, like he came in and kind of kicked him in the balls and Heat Seeker and it's over. It was a bit abrupt for me, the ending. Like I felt like to pin Joe in a 4-way match, he's not as tired as he would be. Like kind of got him with one move and that's it. And it wasn't even like the Heat Seeker's one of his moves. It's just, it's like hitting a Panama Surprise or whatever they call it. Panama Sunrise.
Panama Sunrise.
Yeah. It's Canadian Destroyer.
Yes.
Except on the second rope. Oh, it's much different when it's on the second rope.
Yeah, much more.
That's how I was explained to me last night. It's much differently. It's on the second.
Here's how
rope.
it actually works.
It needs another name.
I see. Did they pull out a whiteboard? It's like, see, if you look at the trajectory of where he's like bringing his down, you can understand why it would be a different move. Like, I get it.
Which, by the way, he hit on Swerve Strickland, and Strickland jumped like a mile in the air, and it looked awesome.
Yes, that was a great spot.
But the Heat Seeker is just kind of like I don't know. It's like Tony Storm's pile driver that you don't really do anything, and she screwed it up anyway in her match, and it was like, oh God. It was just a bit of a flat ending for me for him to win the world title, but I do like him with the world title. I do want to get to very quickly the point that I brought up before. So I think at least Superfan and some others would be feeling that they invested 6 weeks into this tournament. I had a massive problem because I did watch Collision and I had to go out of my way, and it's Christmas time, so I get it. It's a bit odd, but I would never schedule this tournament, Zach, to be right. It's because it's always going to be in and around Christmas. So you're never going to get totally away from this.
Mm-hmm.
And you schedule it where it all comes to this like dramatic round robin conclusion. And like Dynamite's not like it was on, but not on TSN, right? Because other things were on in Canada. I get it. It's a US thing, but it's right before Christmas. It's Christmas Eve and Collision's on, and you can't really find Collision. It was very hard to find in Canada. And that's where you have all of these crazy swings, and you have no time to promote the fact that Okada and Takeshita were going to face off in the semifinals. And by the time people would have found out that that was even going to happen, there was 2 days of build or 2 days of in-between time with no build at all. If those guys are going to face off in the semifinals, wouldn't you want a week to just have them go on TV and be mad at each other and realize that they're going to fight in a week in this very important tournament? This felt like they did this tournament very well. This has been my favorite tournament of the Continental Classics until the end. And I mean, like, until the last week of the round robin and then into the semifinals and the finals. I thought it was very rushed at the end, and I just don't know why you'd ever do that. Do it so that you space it out in time, that you have a week, something. You have a couple of shows to just promote that this is going to happen next week. And look, the fact that John Moxley's going to fight Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita is going to fight Okada. Like, you didn't even know that 2 days before and through Christmas time and Boxing Day where nobody saw it.
Yeah.
So I really had a problem with that. Did you?
Yeah, it's tough to really try and get that over in a matter of a few days. If it was like a week out, I think you'd be fine. Especially with something like Takeshita Okada, when you've been building it up for so long on TV, just in general, that you're going to have this match. So I think if you had it a week out and you just kind of had some closing promos, there's also the argument of you want to try and make your shows feel special no matter what. And so you have to make the sacrifices in terms of, look, it might not be like this year, you might not have a lot of people as you would hope for trying to make the Continental Classic, make time to watch the Continental Classic, but you might be investing in the future. Is like, well, I know in years past that they make some big decisions on this, so I have to try and find a way to spread out some time and watch it during the holiday season and establish it as sort of a tradition, right? So stuff like that could take time. Stuff like that sometimes will never hit, but that might be the investment that AEW is trying to make, where they're trying to make it like a tradition each year. It's like you have to tune in and make it must-see TV. And I will say that's one of the things that I've been complaining about with AEW is that I need some more must-see TV elements to this. And I think that's them trying. Is it the smart strategy? I guess we'll see in the next couple of years if it really locks in and turns into, like, for me, New Japan, like G1 Climax, that was the time that I would block off in the summer and watch all the matches because that's where all the best wrestling happened. Maybe that's what they're trying to gun for with this tournament is like, all right, Christmas time is here, the winter time is here. This is where all the best matches of AEW happen, and I got to put away some time and get committed to it. That might be where the investment is coming into.
Yeah, it makes sense to do it at a certain time. I don't know about Christmas time, but they know about the numbers and people watching and having something happen between shows and getting into the new year with some new storylines. I understand. It's just it's like if you watched all the way up until the week before Christmas, you're heavily invested. I kind of feel that sometimes this happens in the NFL playoffs too. It's like you watch all regular season and then all of a sudden a couple things happen and then they're into the wild card and then some of the teams are out and you're like, how did Bo Nix even get here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how he got there. And just guarantee that the Texans are playing Saturday at 4:30 in the first wild card day. Like, you just know that that's going to happen. So I just felt very rushed. And like, I was able to find it and watch it, but I don't think there are a lot of people that were. And to find out at the very end of the card that Takeshita and Okada are going to fight in this massive spot was like, I just need a little bit of hype and preparation to get there.
Right.
Maybe they knew it was going to be a dud too. What is your overall number, Zach, on the world ending with AEW?
How do I grade the world ending, Lee? That's a tough proposition. Not many people get asked that question.
Try not to swear.
Yes. No, for the sake of my editing purposes after this, I will not. So this was by far one of the weaker pay-per-views from AEW this year. You had a really strong Moxley Fletcher match, which I thought just rocked. I love that match. There was a lot of solid on this on this show. There was a lot of solid professional wrestling. I don't know, like, other than maybe the FTR match, which I say, gritting my teeth after picking them as my tag team of the year. And then they just come out with a performance like that. Just not a good look for me. So there might be a little bit of bitterness in there for saying that's the worst match. But overall, I thought that the show itself was a lot of solid wrestling, but not to the level that we usually see from an AEW pay-per-view. There wasn't multiple bangers, there wasn't multiple match of the year contenders. You had one really good match, and then you had a lot of good matches, and you had a lot of solid matches. So I'm definitely giving this a passing grade. You're not getting a 3 out of 10 on this show review, just for the record. This is not a failing pay-per-view. I'm hovering around like a 6.5 and a 7. It's probably a 7 just to give it more just because of how good the Fletcher Moxley match was. I'm hovering around a 7. That's where my gut is telling me. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Do you think the AEW, as we did our show of the year, do you think that there was a worse show from AEW in 2025?
I would have to think about it, but my initial reaction is I can't really think of a show that was worse than this one from AEW this year.
So fanboy McGibbon over there, who's giving the worst show of the year 7 out of 10
from AEW. Let's be clear, not the worst show of the year.
Yeah,
like, that would be like 1 out of 10
from AEW.
Yep,
but you got to hold them to some standard, Zach.
They still had some solid wrestling, like
they had
the worst match and the worst pay-per-view is different from the worst match from the best pay-per-view.
Okay, but they also had Kazuchika Okada wrestling twice.
Yeah.
John Moxley wrestling twice. This is not the AEW even of the summer where Ospreay's out and Swerve is out and MJF is out. No, MJF was back and Swerve is back. And there's a lot of people that are back except for Ospreay.
Yep.
This was not a good show.
Ooh.
This was, again, a show held up that if Kyle Fletcher wasn't on the show, this show might have been in deep trouble. But this show was also told by the crowd, who was quite flat all night long, except for the Moxley Fletcher match. This crowd was eerily silent. And I think felt the way, for the most part, that I felt watching this show. This is not a 7 out of 10, Zach. This is not a B. No, I'm not bringing this home and getting a B and my parents are happy. Like a 70%.
Yeah.
No, well, no. Because you have to hold people to their own expectations as well.
Yep.
They built this whole tournament for weeks and weeks and weeks on television. I probably should go against my gut, but I'm going to give it a 5.9.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
That's low.
I don't even think it should be in the sixes.
Yeah, you're not even going to give it the benefit of a 6.
Nope. Because unfortunately, the only match I would tell people to go back and watch is the Fletcher Moxley match. But in the grand scheme of things, it didn't mean anything because it was just a semifinal to get to a final where the final was not nearly as good as that one anyway. And the other semi had massive expectations and had a letdown. In the middle of the card, I thought was the worst 2 hours of AEW pay-per-view that I've seen this year. Like I did not like the middle of this card whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It got saved a little bit by MJF winning the championship and having a major title switch with one of your major stars. But there are questions too about, like, okay, he comes back and he wins. Why did you ever put the title on Joe again anyway? Why did you have to do that? I don't know. He held it for a whopping 25 days with a hook turn to get there and everything else. I don't know where it leaves the ops. There's not much about this card that I really liked.
Wow. All
and
right.
for AEW, even if I've not liked half of the card, the other card I've been raving about. The other part of it.
Right.
The other half of it, the other third of it, I raved about. I'm not really raving about anything on this other than my pick of Kyle Fletcher, wrestler of the year, maintained, Zach.
And don't you forget it, as I did.
Right. And, that FTR might not be the greatest tag team in the world. And if John Moxley wins the semi, then he's going to win the final and all of the things that I told people were going to happen.
Yeah. Well, they don't call me the Predict Gibby over here. You know, I'm not exactly, you know,
I was told we
missed
missed it. I was told we missed an opportunity with the Gibbies. The award should have been the Gibbies. And I thought that would have
been nice.
I thought that
was Tanner made that suggestion one time.
Yeah, well, I thought it was very limited to the star of the show.
Yeah, well, I was also going to say, look, it's not a great idea if I pitch to you, Lee. It's like, you know what we should call the awards? After me. Like, that will go over very well, right?
You know what like, the awards should be called? The Sages.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, Terry Bollea, I'm sure that's what you want that to happen, but it's a collaborative effort, you know? So, like...
by the way, it was yesterday, right? As we record this, it was the anniversary of Hogan and Sting in 90...
Oh, 97? It's a
97.
Starcade?
Not today, brother.
No.
Not
Make it a
work.
normal count, brother.
Not gonna work for me today.
No. But Lee, Sting didn't have the right tan. And so how can you move forward with Sting, with Steve Gordon when the tan just wasn't?
I heard Hogan like justify it away a couple of times with his explanations. They're so laughable. It's hilarious. Like it's the funniest thing about it is that he believes what he's saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was such a, like, no, you know, humor in it at all. He's like, brother, like he didn't have the right tan, dude. We couldn't do it that night, brother.
No, we couldn't do it that night. And
I can't believe he didn't have the right tan in December. You know, it's just unbelievable.
And he was going, here's this explanation. It is so funny. The explanation is that, like, when you beat somebody that's on top, you need to make those people look as good or better in defeat.
Of course. Oh yes. If there's anybody that knows about that, it's Hulk Hogan.
Right. And I'm like, this is the antithesis of making people look better. Yeah. Hey, how can you make me money so I can throw you to the wolves and disregard you and bring in the next guy that's going to make me some money?
Yeah. And by the way, we'll make Bret Hart look silly in that too. Just coming off of the screw job too, by the way. Talking about, like, the idea was there. I get the idea, like, he's not getting screwed like I was screwed. But the problem was he wasn't screwed. It was a normal count. So,
anyway, just the anniversary of that popped up and it gave me a very, very good chuckle.
It'll be 30 years after in 2027 since
that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. Yeah. All right. Well, 5.9, Zach.
Wow. That's low.
Yeah, it is. And they deserve it.
I don't know if I could go that low. I think we've rated WWE shows that were better than that.
Yep. Yes.
So you're willing to go that far? I don't know if I'm willing to go that far.
I know you're not, but let's into perspective. Yeah. The very, very, very best WWE show should be able to beat the worst AEW show. It should.
It should, but that doesn't mean it does, Lee. Like I've seen these. I've watched these PLEs too, Lee. Like I've seen them. I've talked about them too. And I've seen some stuff happen on these PLEs. Like, and I'm looking as like, yep, that's the #1 professional wrestling company in the world that produces these shows. You know what they're #1 at? That God, can they sell advertising like no other company?
Yeah, I know.
Despite me already paying for the show.
In the first match, Zach, of the Continental Classic semifinals, they pulled out a screwdriver in a tournament that it's pure wrestling.
Correct. Look, right. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying I was watching, Great American Bash 1989 over here. Okay. Like, I'm not saying this was the best pay-per-view I ever saw, but I'm like 5.9. That's a little tough. That's a little rough, especially with the Fletcher Moxley match. Like,
I would say this is the worst Takeshita looked all year long.
Like the FTR and Bang Bang game wasn't that bad to bring the score down to a 5.9. Like
it actually was. No,
I don't know.
No, Zach, listen. Just how John Cena talks a lot about it? Listening to the audience. Yep. Listen to the audience after that one ended. There wasn't even like a titch of celebration. It was just 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding,
and
ding,
let's
ding.
get to the back, folks.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the world ending here in 2025.
Very doomsday-like over there.
With AEW. Yeah. Well, 2026 coming up soon, and we are going to have there's so much to look forward to because we're going to have a lot going on in 2026. We're also going to have enjoyed the award show. We're going to have some lists. We're going to have what to look for in 2026.
Yep.
So lots to come on This Is Wrestling, but always good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And to touch on that too, I am working on a best of This Is Wrestling for 2025 as well. I'm pretty close to the end. I've gotten a bunch of clips, and let me tell you, Lee, like I'm just going to.
Was I in there, or was it just?
Oh, you're in there. Oh. No, I haven't even gotten to my Triple H rants yet, and I've already got over an hour of content. Like we let me just say, Lee, we really did an awesome job. I'm gonna Barry Horowitz ourselves. Like here,
the Gibbies and the Sages, the Gibbies and the Sages came together to provide
we killed it this year, Lee. I'm telling you. Like I was listening back, it's like, wow, we really did an awesome job. I know I'm actively searching for the best stuff and not finding the worst stuff.
Right,
but it's man, some of our best stuff.
When people do best ofs and they just take like. I know this is a weird thing, but I watched this thing on old WCW finishers. And it was like a collage of the best of the old WCW finishers.
Nice.
And I'm like, these aren't that great. And I went back, and this is like, I got mad, which is like the stupidest thing to do on a reel on something. I got mad and found the WCW Saturday Night in 1992 that they just went and took the finisher from the end of every match on that night.
Oh man.
And I'm like, I knew it because I was just like, these are very good. They're not the best finishers. I'm like, that's what people do with best ofs. They just find, oh yeah, I think we did this and just a couple of things, but you're actively looking and finding the best stuff, which is fantastic.
Yes. Look, somebody's got to put over Scott Norton's bear hug somewhere. So you got to like put it over. Right. So, but I will say though, like legitimately, it has been a blast to go through the audio. It's like, there was some stuff I had forgotten we'd done this year. It's like, God, we really killed it this year. I'm not even lying.
You're popping yourself.
I haven't even gotten to my Triple H rants yet. Like I've already got over an hour. Like I'm looking to try and find the right ones. You know,
we got 55 minutes though. 55 minutes.
55 minutes was last year, so we can't.
Was it really?
This year. I know. It feels like so long ago, but that was in last year's compilation. That's still one of my finer works. I'm still mad about that. I still want that time back. I could have done something so productive with those 55 minutes, but I will never get it back. But I found other stuff. Like I'll give even a tease here. I went back and I remembered that we did the mixed match challenge. We did the proposal for the mixed match challenge. I was laughing hysterically listening back to the audio.
Still, I can't wait to hear that again because that had me legitimately popping and not being able to get. Because it just kept getting added. I was fired up
on the audio too. I was like, yes, that's what we need to do. Yes, I'm so in. Let's go. It's like, I now can't wait for when they bring it back. It's going to be so, I've never been more excited about the mixed match challenge in all my life.
If people haven't heard that, just wait until you think what the final is and then realize what's happening after.
Yes.
Get to
and then final. It all makes sense when you know me and Lever Sage, and you're like, oh, of course they would pitch it like that. But there's some good ones in there. There's some really good ones in there that I'm very happy. The best one was actually, in my opinion, the best episode we did was that ESPN debut PLE.
Yeah.
We were just firing on all cylinders that episode.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like I was legitimately got 3 of the best of moments from that episode. It was fantastic.
See, I love this. Yes. I can't wait for this.
Yes, I know we're Barry Horowitzing ourselves right now and patting ourselves on the shoulder, but I think, I'm not going to lie, Lee, I think this is one of our strongest years in terms of stuff that we put out there.
I can't wait to hear it. And I look forward to, we should probably have one of those Predictriver shows, you know, what is going to happen in 2026. And then I'll be able to pat myself on the back after 2026. You won't. It'll be great.
I can't predict a Chelsea Green match, but boy, so if I can't predict a Chelsea Green match, am I going to predict what happens in 2026? Who knows? Who knows at this point?
It's hard to
throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Oh boy, lots to get to over the coming weeks as we head into 2026. All right, for Zach McGibbon, I believe Versage. Thanks for listening to our AEW World End show here on This Is Wrestling.